guys, welcome to Circle Back Podcast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Adrian.
We are excited about this guest that we have. The third season, it's been a good season. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all of our guests. I've enjoyed our new segment on the entrepreneurship side of things. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So this will be our last episode for the season. And we will kick back probably in the new year. You'll see us again. But we'll have some things here and there. But you know, December's busy and we know you're busy. So we're going to spend time with our families and yeah, it's going to be good. But before we say goodbye and sign off for some time, we are going to speak to the Corey Gibson.
Ooh.
Corey is back on the pod. Corey, what's up?
Did you save the best for last?
I did earlier. Yeah, but I didn't say that.
Then she said most mediocre for last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah. So I'm
It's a
happy
nice-
that you're here.
It's good to be here.
It's a nice sweater you got on. Sweatshirt?
Thank you. Yeah.
Sweater weather. We
Christmas,
have entered
fall.
sweater weather. Finally.
I woke up and it was like 45 degrees
Yes.
in Atlanta. And then I come here and it's still like
45 degrees.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
It's great.
So Corey drove all the way to Atlanta just to be here today. No, I'm just kidding.
And I've never had this many layers on, by the way.
Yeah, you're going to be sweating.
Yeah,
by
I
the time
drove
we're
4
done.
hours just for this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, so Corey is here. He had some business to attend to in the good old Tullahoma area. And Corey's really good about always coming to see me when he's in town. So I really do appreciate that about him. So what better time to have him on the pod?
No better time, I say.
Yeah, and have the last episode of season 3 be a friend of the pod.
CG.
The OG.
Me, Corey G.
Yep, me, Corey G. So, Corey, let's talk about where we left off. You left us for Atlanta.
End of May.
Yeah. So, you took off, went to Atlanta, and, you know, that was a big decision.
It was.
And it was a decision that came with a lot of thought and prayer and, you know, saying, you know, goodbye as far as like being down the road from people you love but then also going to the place where your family is. You've gotten to spend a lot of time with them. So what's been the biggest like blessing, like, okay, yeah, this was the right move, you know?
Just family.
Yeah.
Just being able to be close to home. Close to family, church home. You know, two of my cousins had babies since last that I've been on the podcast, and so yeah.
So
Two girls.
are you there a lot? Are you with family a lot? Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And so it's good, you know, see my parents at least once a week.
Aw.
You know, best friends, other friends, family, cousins.
Yeah.
Just getting to hang out with them.
Yeah. So you moved away from people, but you had people there too.
Yeah.
So that's
I think
always good.
I have community just about everywhere I go. So
Yeah.
That is true. So that is something that I think is really telling to who you are, and also just like how much community does mean to you, is that every single place you have planted, even if it's for a short period of time, you have lifers where you get to go back and like be with them, like fellowship with them, even if it's a year down the road, 2 years, a month, whatever it is. You have these little pockets all over the place, and that's really cool. That's something that I think is telling to your character and just the intentionality that you have behind being a friend. It's not just geographical, but it's way more than that.
Yeah, I've taken hundreds of personality tests and all of them, and every time I do one, like networker or something like that, is always a part of that. So yeah,
That like
That
at the
adds
end,
up.
does it always tell you the same thing, like African
just
American?
about. Yeah,
I was about to say, they tell you you're black.
they
every
do.
time.
I'm only 72% though. Yeah,
Are you for real?
Wait, is that true?
no,
Oh.
stop it.
So dumb.
I was like, what's the other?
I'm just Irish.
Oh, yes, you can tell.
Yeah, the hair really, yeah. You can tell that's
I'm
Irish.
actually lighter than what I appear. Football made me this dark.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's cool. So
church hurt has made me sorry.
That's a different podcast. No. It's not quite dark yet, so we have to wait till after dark. So tell me about kind of the struggle. Have you had any struggles being out there? Have you had any, like...
no, just missing people here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, even with coming up for the next 2 days, just trying to get a hold of everybody. And, you're here for 2 days and you have 20 different people who wants to see you. And it's just trying to schedule that out and stuff like that. And who you're going to stay with or...
Right.
Who you're going to have lunch with or whatnot.
Just stretching yourself, trying to make the most of your visit. See, that wouldn't be a problem for me. I would visit and then be like, maybe one person would call and be like,
Stop it.
hey.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh, man.
No.
No, but that's really cool. I'm really glad that, I don't know, when you moved, I felt nothing but like excitement for you, because like I had just lost my mom and like I was excited for you to spend time with your family, but definitely your parents. I think a lot of times as we get older, it's like we're just so used to our parents being there, and maybe some people, not both, not maybe just one, or maybe they didn't have a good relationship with their parents, and I'm not saying this is a story for everyone, but as you get older, it's just, you realize more and more that this time really is precious. But you have to have intentional time, and I think that's the whole premise of getting older is intentionality.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because like if you don't have that, it's not going to work out very well.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right priorities and things of that nature, you're going to miss it.
But it gets harder.
Yeah, that's right.
The older you get, the more responsibility you have at work.
Yeah.
You start having a family and kids and all that. It gets harder to have that intentionality. And so...
Yeah, and then I think that's where it comes into play of when you get older, you truly start to realize who is in your community, like who's in your life, like, you know what I mean? And like who's going to stick it out.
Yeah.
I remember when I got married, I got married in 2015. And at the time I was 19 and like basically the only one I knew of that was married at that age, right? Right, 20, yeah. I had just turned 20. Anyway, and so like, but I remember being like, oh gosh, this is different, right? Because then all of a sudden I was moving out of my mom's house, moving in with Matthew, and then my other friends just didn't. I mean, they're not even dating at the time. Some weren't, some were, and like it was just a very different feel. And then I had Elias, and I had friends around that didn't have kids, but then I got super blessed with definitely like Adrian's family. They have a lot of kids, and our kids kind of are growing up together. And I don't know, I just think it's the older you get, the more you look around and you're like, these are the people that are gonna be here forever.
If I had been invited to your wedding, I would have stuck it out with you since then, but that didn't happen.
You were invited.
Oh my gosh, no, I was not.
I was invited, but I didn't show up. And the only reason I didn't show up...
I'm not even going to talk about it.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Was because I got hired in Michigan.
Yes.
And that same weekend was my first weekend as a pastor there in Michigan. So
yeah, I guess it's fine. No.
I know.
It's fine.
I mean, the job didn't last, so I came back to you
Neither
guys,
did the marriage. No. I'm just kidding. It did.
Well, we were the only two.
It was the test of time. Yeah, and so
that's funny because we weren't even at your first wedding.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Look how God redeemed.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's right. No, but like, I don't know. I thought when you moved, man, I was just like, I think I was so. It's not like me to be, to play it cool. Like when someone I love is leaving, or when I've grown up with kind of some trust issues of like people are just kind of gonna leave, and so when you left, like it was like one of these feelings that I was not completely aware of that I even had, and that was that I was just like, I'll see him. Like, I'll see him again. Like, because I know you as and your character is like, I don't know, I'm coming back. Like, you know what I mean? And you mean that. And you've always shown that to be true. Definitely to my family. And so, I don't know.
I just left and everybody was so nonchalant. Like, we're not going to miss Corey. And,
really, whatever. We'll see you when you get there.
We'll see you in 2 months.
Hey, I did.
Which it was.
I did have a goodbye dinner for you.
You did.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's.
Good old Cheddars.
Okay. That's where it happens. We've had a lot of.
There's been a lot of good memories.
A lot of really good memories. A lot of really awkward memories.
Cheddars.
Bad.
Cheddars
and it's
is
always
betters.
around my birthday.
It is around your birthday.
Which is always my birthday too.
And so,
Y'all basically share a birthday.
Pretty close.
3 days apart.
Yeah. Not me. Mine's
Cheddars
coming
betters.
up. Mine's coming up.
Yours 2 weeks.
Coming up. June.
Yep.
June 9th.
Our birthdays are all coming up.
So tell me about being out there.
Did you keep your same job or did you have to switch jobs?
No, I kept the same job.
That's
I
nice.
work from home. It's been a good transitional period. I mean, with work, it's been good. Up for promotions, raises, bonuses.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. It's really cool to see how everything kind of played out because, you trusted the Lord, And I think that's another thing for me is like when my friends make these big decisions like moving or jobs or whatever it may be, the older I get and the community I have around me. I mean, right now my community is very tight knit. There's not many. And I like it. Like, what I'm saying?
That's good, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't say that in a way of like, oh, I don't have any. Like, no, I have really good people around me. But something that's really cool in the stage I'm in and then the stage that we are in life is that the decision we make, like, we trust each other in the sense of like, no, if he feels like he should go, he should go. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it wasn't just also good for me. It was good for the people that were there. Like I've had several conversations with friends and, my pastor who's there and some other people. And it's like they kept saying, like, I'm so glad that you're back. And, with my cousin who just had their baby and, talking to his wife and all that. She was like, yeah, we're excited that you're back. You get to partake and be a part of this life and this family and stuff like that again. And so, because for me, it was hard just, seeing that your nephew's growing up and you're missing
fast. Yeah, you're missing it.
Events and stuff like that. And I was like, and I think I said this in the last episode where I felt like, I was being a good uncle or blunkle to the people here. But at home, my actual family and stuff like that, like I wasn't a part of their situation or lives that was going on. And so just to go back and be a part of that, it's been good.
Yeah, and you can't take that time back, because I will tell you from experience, I was super young when I became an aunt. I was 6 years old. And like, absolutely, I have adored these children. Like my nieces and my nephew are like everything. Unfortunately, I didn't get much of the same when we moved to Tennessee when I was a kid, right? And so, like, looking back now, it can almost make me cry, the thought of, like, man, I would have been at every baseball game. I would have been at every, like, sport activity and school activity, and, like, I would have been cheering you on. Like, and now they're adults, and, we have the freedom now to go and visit each other, and we do, but there's this thing of like, do you understand that I would have been there? Like, do you truly understand that? And, they always say yes and they're great, but like, it's just like, you can't take it back. You know, you can't take that back, or the time that you've missed.
Can't get it back.
Or can't get it back. Yeah. And so I'm all for, man, I think that in America for some reason, like, it's normal for us to be 18 then leave. A lot of cultures, you just stay together as a family for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know that not everyone has the best family dynamics. I'm not talking about that. I'm just, if your family's not blood related, but that's your family, like, just
that's your family.
That's your family, like, and
I mean, you guys are closer to me than some of my actual, like, blood related people that are in my family. So
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm glad that you realize, because that can be a hard pill to swallow, to be like, like kind of have a guilt sense of like, I'm not being the uncle that I could be. Mm-hmm. And you kind of feel like you're choosing other people over them. Like, I know you love Elias, mm-hmm. but you have your own nieces and nephews, and but the cool thing is that you treat Elias as if he is your actual blood related, nephew. Just the other day,
I was just about to bring it up. He called me. I was because I'm like waiting for Hannah to like answer the phone. I was like, and then Eve started speaking. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Now he's the only nephew that has done that. So let me give you your props.
Thank you.
And give him his props and stuff like that.
We're big in this family of calling our family members. Yeah. But yeah, it was so funny. It was we were driving in a car and we weren't talking about you or anything. And he goes, Mom, it's been a long time since I've seen Uncle Corey. Aww. And I said, yeah, buddy, it has, I said, he moved to Atlanta and,
Did he know? Did y'all tell him when I had left?
Yeah, he knew, but he doesn't know where that is. Yeah. And
he'd be like, is that in this country?
Yeah. And he was just like, can I call Uncle Corey? And I was like, yeah, buddy. And I handed him my phone and I just let him go, and I just loved hearing the interaction between you two. He likes to call people. He's a big caller. Yeah. So wonder where he gets it from.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Corey hates when I call him.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
You used to.
No, I like when you call me.
Hate is a strong word.
It's very strong word.
Me. Yeah. He told me.
I think anything that we can talk about through text. Let's do that first.
Nope, I'm calling every time.
Hannah was like, no.
No, we're Xing it out, and I'm just calling right away.
She's like, do you want Pepsi? Dial my number. You could have texted me this.
Do you want Pepsi? That is hilarious. That's so true. Whoa.
Jinx.
Anyway, so I'm really glad that you have found your footing there. You have the same job, your family. I mean, it's just a really cool thing to see. Have you had any trouble with like you were talking about church? So is this a church you went to before?
Yeah, this is. Okay. I consider this my home church.
Okay.
My family, the pastor is one of my best friends, and so yeah.
So you just kind of walked in and everyone was cool.
Yeah. They were very excited to see me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And are you involved in that, or are you
not
just
yet? I'm just taking the season,
good,
just to relax and.
I think it's very important.
I think it's cool that the pastor sees that, knowing what you have, the value that you could add. Yeah, he sees it as like, just come.
Yeah, especially being a close friend of his and stuff. He could have easily asked me to come and serve and do whatever. And that's fine.
It's so refreshing to be somewhere where people value you for more than what you can do for them.
Exactly. Yep. There was no rush to get back in the ministry, no rush to, like, even just to sit down and have coffee with them. It was like, take your time, we're going to hang out and stuff like that. We went a couple weeks ago and, was there for about an hour and 10 minutes. And
were you ever part of the ministry there? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I was a part of the young adults ministry there. Okay. And then, I was going on Sundays as my church and I was serving. I was actually on the board. So they're a ministerial board. Yeah. And so I was a part of that.
Okay. So to me, that's even more refreshing because I feel like, I'm really, there's like this two-way thing going on of like, yeah, you come back and it's just immediate of like, they love me, they're excited, but they didn't like put you right back where you were as if nothing happened in your life. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that is really refreshing.
And we've had hard conversations, he and I. There's been times where, literally the first year that I moved here to be a pastor at, because they have the same name church.
Oh.
So.
Wait, is it Swanee? Is that the same? That's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so they, literally they supported me that first year. Like I received random checks from them and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
They sent me books and resources and stuff. And so they've been, excellent resource.
What the church should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really
just life-giving. And we met because we both were in a season of change and transition in our lives. He was graduating college, just getting married.
So he's pretty young then.
Yeah, he's a year younger or older than me.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So, yeah.
And he's a main pastor? That's really cool.
And so he took over the church about 8 years ago from his dad.
Oh, okay. It sounds like you guys have a really good, I guess, boundaries, you know, like there's like you said, like really close friendship, but also working together in ministry. Those two things can get crossed sometimes and can get blurry.
Yep.
And it would have been very easy, like you said, for him to be like, hey, can you help us out? Like, we really need this. Or like, and it's not, and like, I hope people hear me of like, I'm not trying to say like that would have even been bad of him, but I think that it shows so much maturity and just to be able to tell someone like, hey, just sit.
Well, I think it's a little bit of what Adrian said. It's just, you know, he's recognizing like my soul and where I'm at now, and just allowing me to rest and relax and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're so much more than what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
For people.
Yeah.
I mean,
just in general, people are so much more than what
and
they can do
it's
for
freeing
others.
for me. I mean, I've been a pastor 20 years, 21 years. And so just showing the church like a regular person, sometimes late.
Sometimes, I know, you be
so it's like.
It never failed, dude. Okay, it never failed. When Life Change was church, and Corey, I'm like, where's Corey? If he wasn't serving, I'd go, and it's like, no, like 11:15, and I see him stirring his little coffee in the break area.
It starts at 11.
Yeah, I'm like, Corey, get to church. He's like, I'm overslept.
2 songs into it. It's life.
Yeah.
I mean, and I live 45 minutes from the church.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah.
So are you there? Do they have one service Sunday? Or okay. So they're one service, and yeah, that's really cool that you're able to just enjoy. Yeah. I think we all need to just enjoy sometimes. And, you know, I kind of was there myself. Well, with everything that happened with the church I was serving at, and when I came out of that, it was very like, what now? You know, because like when it's your job and you lose that job, and whether it's because you moved or something happened within the church or whatever it is, you just no longer in that position. It's very strange. Yeah. Because you go from, and it seems like in ministry, it's not like okay, I was a manager at Walmart and now I'm not, no biggie. It's like you have this you have to change your whole mindset of what the church is and who you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, it makes absolutely sense. Yeah.
You know, and like, it's very difficult because your first instinct is like, well, I got to keep doing this, and this. And
because your heart is attached to this.
Exactly.
It's not a regular job. Your heart is attached to it. Your mind is attached to it. Everything that you know has been really transformed by this because you're so involved with people's lives and stuff like that.
It's people, exactly what it says, people's lives. And you don't just drop out of that. Like, you're right. Drop out, you know, and it's like, it's a very weird feeling to have it all one day and then you don't. But at the same time, for me, you can be so hurry to where's the next position I'm supposed to be in. Sometimes the most obedient thing you can do is just chill out. Yeah. Just stop and chill. And realize that like maybe this particular door in ministry is closed, but it doesn't mean forever. Like, ministry is not just inside the 4 walls of the church, right? We all know this, that people are sitting in this room. We're all, to me, I mean, we are literally bringing the gospel to people every single day. And that's ministry. Like, you know, and so I'm just really glad that you're getting a chance to take a breath, soak it in, just to enjoy the friendships you have there, the family you have there, and what's happening. I mean, you hadn't been there in how many years?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Things change. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they're moving into a brand new facility that they're building, and so, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, no doubt you could have jumped in and been just fine, right? But like, I think there's a sweet, just like this, a sweetness to just waiting and just soaking in the newness of whatever.
Yeah, I think the hardest part, even in my mind, even before I fully decided that I was going to go back, is realizing that if I do go back, will people think I'm a failure? And that's an aspect that people really don't think about when you leave one location and then you go back.
Yeah.
Well, because you had a purpose for leaving the first time.
Yeah, I had a purpose. And so it was like, well, if I go back, will they think that I failed?
That's an interesting perspective. I really
identify with that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so
Adrian probably.
I say, you will know, just coming back here last year. And so it's like, and that's hard because that was, for me, that was the biggest catalyst for me not wanting to go back was I didn't want to feel like a failure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want people to look at me and say, oh, he failed. He didn't succeed.
Like he's just going home.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, he's just doing the easy thing.
Yeah,
It's not really the easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could have stayed here.
Yeah.
It's not like, the cost of living is, almost 3 times high.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a very interesting perspective because like that's not something that I can relate with, but like not on the same. Like I've always been here. Like you know what I mean? And I can relate with feeling like a failure, but not for that purpose. Like, and I know that's something that Adrian, when she moved to LA and then when she came back home, it was a long time, I feel like, before you even felt like this was home, which was interesting to me because
it's still kind of like that in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Right. And then that was interesting to me because I'm like, how could this not be, you know what I mean? And so being on the outside of that and watching her go through the emotions of that, because you're kind of grieving what you had.
Exactly. Yep.
Right, and the life that you had. And I think people are so quick to, and myself included, like, just like, okay, like, move on. Like, not move on in a bad way, but we're just like, we're human, right? We got to go to work. Okay, we got to do this. We got to get the bills paid. Like, we're just busy. And we don't realize that, like, wait a minute. Like, this is a big deal. Like, yeah, coming home may sound like you said, the easy thing to do. But a lot of times, that's a really hard thing to do for people.
Yeah.
And I just got to see that on the outside with Adrian in particular. And I know it wasn't easy. So how do you, I'll talk to you guys because I don't want to act like I have, a say, but how do you guys fight that? Or do you think it's really honestly just a whole mentality of like, no one's really thinking this, but like, or is it?
I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
I think, for me at least, it's just, I know that these people love me.
Yeah.
The ones that matter, they love me. And so, I don't think they have that thought process in their mind that, oh, Corey came back because he failed or he didn't succeed in something.
Yeah.
And so, for me, that it was just, getting out of my mind and walking in faith.
Yeah. So are you more worried? So are you worried about the thoughts that you failed yourself, or is it more worried that other people are going to think that you failed?
Now, Hannah, I didn't want to have therapy.
You are on the couch.
I know, but it's definitely both.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. What about you, Adrian?
No, I've never felt like I failed coming back. I don't think I haven't really dealt with feeling like a failure necessarily. For me, it was mostly I made my home somewhere else. And every time I would come back to Tennessee while I was living in LA, it would feel less and less like home coming back to Tennessee. And I had just I felt like I was thriving kind of in California. And so when I moved back here, I felt like, okay, home is no longer Tennessee, but obviously home's not California anymore. So I felt like I was in this weird floating limbo space, and I've never really felt like that before. So it was just strange.
So how do we, I think that's a problem all across the board, right? Feeling this place of home and who we are, and not to get all like therapy and Christianese on everyone, but like I thoroughly believe that we will always feel this weight of wondering where we're supposed to go and wondering, and is this place home? Is this home? Is, until we're rooted in our true identity, which is Christ, right? Because speaking for me, I just texted Matthew this last night, and I said, you know what I'm really excited about? And he said, a blizzard? And I'm like, absolutely, always. No, I'm sorry. I said, do you know what I want right now?
A McFlurry.
Yeah. And he said a blizzard, and I was like, yeah. And I said, I always want that. But I said, I cannot wait until I walk into my home and I feel peace, or I feel home, you know. And he was like, you know, he was talking about some other things, and but you know, when he was talking to me, he was talking more of like, well, this isn't going to like things are going on, right? Life is chaotic. But I know that I have had this feeling for a long time. It has nothing to do with my circumstances. It has nothing to do with, you know, where I live, you know, where my geological location is. And a lot of times when people get this way, we're like, we got to go, right? We got to find the next location, or let's go on a hike. Like the waterfall will get me to be centered.
Like a restless?
Yeah. Like this, oh man, like what's going on? And you have a hard time finding your joy, and you have a hard time being in peace, and you may feel like you're doing all the right things. And I just think when we get to that place of not feeling like we're home, I think we've got to look at our hearts. Because I think when we feel that restless, and that when we put that much effort into home, if we tried to center that and do a different perspective, and surround yourself with people that can remind you of that perspective, because a lot of times we don't remember because we're like just searching for anything that can hold us over. But I know a lot of people, and myself included, that have searched and searched for their entire lives, like literally their entire lives, and they just continue to feel this missing piece. And I think it was Judah Smith that said that
Judah
that he was talking about how our hearts, God is our creator, and he created us, and so he is, I don't know why I'm saying this again, but God is the creator of us, right? And so naturally, our hearts always want to go home, just like we want to go home when we're on a long trip. We're always yearning for home. And that just really has always stuck with me, because I think no matter what, God made us to want to be home, you know, like he made us to want to have relationship with him, you know, and find that peace and home. And, I don't know what you guys do, because a lot of times I feel like I could be doing the right stuff, and I still feel so far, you know. Do you guys have any, I don't know, Corey, what do you do when do you feel that way ever? I just went on a huge tangent.
That's what I'm about to say. Which way?
Can you just repeat everything you just said?
Basically, Adrian was just talking about like, and I'm not saying this is how Adrian felt at all, but she was talking about how like this just didn't feel like home anymore. And she was talking about how California obviously wasn't home. Now Tennessee isn't obviously like that home. So like, where does that leave us, you know, as a people? So, because Adrian's not the only one, and you're not the only one, I'm not the only one. I think in life, we just feel this weight of trying to find where we belong.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it can be anything. I mean, somebody can have who enjoys like traveling, and, you know, they feel like, you know, they're called to travel, and they're not called to be in one location and just to be there. It could be because someone is single, and so they may be single and ready to mingle, but they're not ready to mingle and, you know, be in one set location. And so for me, it's just, I think it's just more of, you know, what God is wanting to do in my life, and what I believe that he's calling me to do, and just to follow after that. And so I can make home wherever, but I know that Atlanta is home because of my family.
Okay.
Like, I know Atlanta's home because of just the people that I've done life with for 15 years, 20 years, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So, when you say you can make any place your home, did you feel home here?
Yes. Yep.
All right. It's interesting. Not interesting in a bad way. I'm just, like, I like to pick your brain because I I want to be like that. And I'm slowly getting there. You know, I think I'm just always wondering if I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know? And lately it has just felt heavy. Like, just the world has just felt heavy. And you know, I'm trying to understand that my circumstances, they don't really matter. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, at the end of the day, my circumstances are always going to be there. Life is going to be lifing forever. Yeah. It's a mess. You know, it's not like, okay, today we're done with this. Like, you know, tomorrow might bring something else, or the next day might, and that sounds so like doomsday, but it's not that. It's more just like we are in a sinful world. It's just what happens. We're human. I think a lot of people, God never promised us perfect. Mm-hmm. He promised that he would be there. Yeah. In the midst of it, but he never promised that that everything in life would go perfect. Yeah. In our life, and like you said, life be lifing. Life be lifing, man. It does. There is this song I really, really like, and it says almost the exact same thing. It's like, you never promised that I wouldn't feel the hurt. You just promised that you wouldn't leave, or something. That's not even. They stole that from me. Yeah, they stole that. Yeah. We'll contact them about that later. Yeah. Copyrights. They read my book. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Just plug that in there. You know I will. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just think this whole journey of life is so interesting, because we are to the age of like where we're moving, or we're coming back, or we're trying to figure out where we are going or what we're doing in life. And I feel like the age between like 25 to 35-ish is like really kind of big. The pits. It's big. Oh, yeah. Big, yes. Well, like, yeah, but like that's what I was gonna say. I love that you said the pits. My mom used to say it all the time. But like, it is like, it's like you think you should know where you're at in life, but you don't, and you know, and you're having kids, and you're like, I'm not even responsible enough for myself, and like. Well, that's what I was just about to ask you. Do you guys feel like you're, like when you were 17, do you feel like at the age you are now, you're where you're supposed to be? I do. I think. Yeah. I don't know, like, if I'm supposed, like, I don't know. Like, I said that really quickly. Define supposed to. Like work, family, life in general? Like where, like career goals, anything like that? Oh, my career is not anything what I thought it would be. But it is exactly what I need it to be. And exactly what when I say it's not what I thought it would be, I've worked a lot of jobs, and you know, I have had really good paying jobs. And but before I was ever a mom, I had a job that was great, but I was working like 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week. And I told them, I was like, I have to quit. And they asked me why, and because I was making money. And I said, it's not worth it to me. It's just not worth it. I can't spend time with any people, my family. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize you had a kid. And I was like, I don't, but I will one day probably. You know what I mean? And like that time. Did they look at you crazy? Yeah, they did. And I was just like, this time is not, can't like we said earlier, we can't get this time back. Yeah. And I knew that, so to answer your question of like, I don't know. I think I'm exactly where I need to be right now. But I don't know if 17-year-old Hannah would have thought I was going to be. I will say no, but let me just rephrase. I never thought I would be going through the things that I have been going through lately. But 29-year-old Hannah is like just going day by day and not mad about it, you know. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I have a saying that says win today. Yeah. Just don't worry about next year. Don't worry about 6 months from now. Just you can't, man. Yeah. Win every day. Yeah. I think that's one of the like most dangerous things you can do sometimes is just be so worried about tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just today. Like, and I mean that in the most my whole heart. It's like just today. And I think I learned that just from going through some of the things I've gone through, even as a child. Like, you just never know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
And I barely know what the next hour brings. But if I can just win this moment, and even if I'm not winning, quote unquote, the moment, maybe it's a terrible moment, but if I can be present in this moment and get through this moment,
It's good.
that's the next step. And then we can go to the next step after that. But let's finish this one first. I think a lot of times we try to skip. You know what I mean? When you're a kid and you try to skip, like, sometimes you just need to walk through it, not skip over it, not, you just walk through it. And it sounds so, like, easy and nonchalant, but it's the hardest thing we do is having to walk through our crap.
All I can think about is Girl Meets World, when she was like, yeah, there's you skipping through life. And she goes, okay, I don't skip. And then the other girl's like, yes, you do. And then she goes, it's the safest way to travel.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, Girls Meets World.
Have you ever seen
Classic.
it?
Yeah.
So good.
It's pretty darn good.
It's not better than the first one.
Oh, absolutely not. It's different. Like, Girl Meets World, I would never watch that unless I knew Boy Meets World, But, like, when you watch, you're like, oh, this is cute. Like,
it is
whatever. Cute. Like, it's easy television. But Boy Meets World, nothing beats it. That might be my favorite show in the world. Boy Meets World.
What?
Might be. What's your favorite show?
Probably One Tree Hill,
Okay.
maybe.
One Tree Hill, really?
Scrubs
Oh, yeah.
for comedy.
Vampire Diaries?
No.
Gosh, I was a huge Vampire Diaries
That's
fan
why
in
I
high
said
school.
that, yeah.
No, I think my top is Psych. I think Psych.
Yeah,
good.
I would think that for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Arthur on PBS Kids.
That was a good one.
That really shaped
Did
me
you
as
guys
a
ever do a Big
child.
Comfy Couch?
Yep.
Yes.
Every morning at 7 a.m.
Yep. Yeah.
The only thing we couldn't
Lynette
do
and
was
Molly, a clown in her dolly.
Ren and Skimpy and Teletubbies.
Oh, yeah.
Teletubbies freaky, man.
Teletubbies.
Weird.
What?
I mean, what?
I will say I always wanted those bowls. They have like straws inside the bowls. You know, like on
I
the
had one.
side.
I had one.
It was like tubby custard that they would eat.
Mhm.
Tubby custard.
Yep. Yep. I did think that, like, the pink stuff was really cool
Yeah.
and all that. Or the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. Sorry. You had to hear that. But yeah, I had one of those bowls, and
Was it everything you thought it would be?
it really was. And, like, you would get done with your cereal and you're tipping it so the milk gets to the straw. I'm like,
That's awesome.
it was pretty cool. Yeah. My parents really splurged on me.
Yeah, they did.
I want the bowl with the straw.
For my tubby custard.
Oh, my Lord.
All right, so Corey, when are we going to see you again?
I will be back here.
In a month. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks for a
I
wedding.
mean, by the time y'all listen to this, it won't be 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Is that my phone? Sorry if you hear that. It is my phone. It's on this wooden piece of table here.
This wooden slab of table.
So, yeah, for our friend's wedding and so.
That'll be fun. It's going to be a good time. Corey, I'm just going to apologize for everyone. The amount of microphone touching that Corey has been doing this podcast episode is, you would think he'd never been on one before. Yeah. My gosh.
Only 2 seasons.
Hands to yourself.
You learn after the
Hand
third
to
season.
yourself. Yeah.
Clearly you don't because your phone.
Right.
Remember you said at the beginning of before the episode, you were
literally
like, we don't need any phones going off during this episode.
Yeah, here we are. It's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that, Corey, you're a steadfast friend
Steadfast.
Steadfast.
That's a word you don't hear often.
because it's not often used because it's not an adjective for many people. But I feel like you are steadfast. He said hallelujah. So,
Praise Jesus.
Moses. Have you seen Miss Congeniality too?
I don't think so.
Ooh.
The first one, yes.
Yeah, it's not nearly as good as the first one, but it does have
there
a
are
couple
some
really funny parts.
Yeah. She was, so there's one part.
Is Sandra's in this?
Sandra's in it. Yep.
Yes.
There's one part where she and her partner, which is a black lady, have to dress up as Tina Turner and this other person, right?
I don't even know.
But the other person is, Tina is a black woman. Sandra Bullock's like, well, why can't I play Tina? And the girl's like, are you serious right now?
Oh my goodness.
I love it. So anyway, well, listen, I would like to apologize to everyone because I don't feel like I did very well in this podcast.
You did
episode.
great.
I don't know.
You
I don't
did
feel
great.
it. I feel like I really rambled and didn't make any sense. So
I don't feel the same way.
I don't know. That's great. But yeah, so let's. I lost my train of thought.
What are we gonna do? Let's join hands.
No. I was like,
In prayer.
let's.
I personally feel strange, but that's because I did something I never do today, and I had an energy drink, which I don't drink energy
Why
drinks.
did you do that?
Because I was so tired in class. Like, I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Was it a coffee one?
It's a 5-hour class. No, it
Okay,
was
because
not
I
a
was like,
coffee one.
you've done those.
No, it's called a Rain.
Yeah, rain.
It has 300 milligrams caffeine.
Ooh,
300. That is so much caffeine.
I drink that on the
it's
daily.
like 3 cups
That's
of
terrifying.
espresso.
Yeah, Adrian, you
It's
drink
more-
coffee a
no,
lot.
I do, but the amount of coffee I drink does not usually add up to 300 milligrams
That's fair.
of caffeine, and having it all at once plus whatever other crap they put in there all day. I've
B12.
just been very strained. Like, my hands were literally shaking, or I couldn't get them to stop shaking.
Man,
it
that's,
hurt my
that's crazy to
stomach.
me to think that caffeine affects people like that.
Yeah, made my anxiety go through the
Hannah
roof.
doesn't.
I don't even notice.
She's like, I chugged one of these and I went to bed.
Yeah, like, I
literally
just go to
Does
bed.
a
She'll
2
drink-
liter a day.
She'll drink caffeine right before she goes to bed.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't
I
understand.
respect that.
My favorite thing of Hannah's was
Terrifying.
we would be at church and she'd look at me because I'm working in the coffee shop bar, whatever they call
Yeah.
it. And Hannah would look at me and she'd give me a little nod, and I knew exactly what that meant. That means sneak her a Pepsi or
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Here's the thing, man. I've been at that church for 6 hours. I'm not about to pay for that Dr. Pepper.
That is true.
I love it.
He always left
She
at
would
the
literally be
bottom of
across
the.
the foyer and to do that, and I knew exactly what that meant. Put her a Dr. Pepper on
I
the
said,
side.
"Hey, Corey, how you doing, brother?" And then I'd walk by and just grab
go ahead and
the.
get
It was always at the end of the table too. Yeah, that's
Wow, what a smooth system.
great. Yeah, we had it down.
You just ratted yourselves out.
I don't care. It's-
We're 7
Sue
years
me.
removed.
yes.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, that'd be alright. But anyway, yeah, I love that. It's so fun. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna hang up now. This whole time, Corey's been on the phone. No, I'm just kidding. He's here in person.
Gotcha. Fun
I
joke.
told you she calls. We could have did this through a text.
Yeah.
How's life? It's life and
Yep.
good
I
quote.
tell you, man, I be trying to pull stuff out of you folks, and you just stare at me like a deer in headlights. I'm like, all right, no one else feels this way, just me. All right, I love you guys.
Love ya.
Corey,
you.
I love you, and I thank you so much for coming and hanging out
Absolutely.
with us and all the stuff. So you will have other people to go see, though. So
Yeah.
you gotta fit it in. Get your Corey time.
Popular guy. Popular guy.
Yep.
All right, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.